So in today's question, a boat moves right across a river with a velocity of 10 km per hour relative to the water. The water has a uniform speed of 5 km per hour relative to the earth. So in this case, we are going to find out two things. In the first part, A, find the velocity of the boat relative to the observer standing on either bank. If the width of the river is 3 km, find the time it takes for the boat to cross it. और बी पार्ट में निकालना है if the boat travels with the same speed relative to the river and is to be towards right across, in what direction should it be heading? Okay. So जो हमारे पास ए पार्ट है, ए पार्ट के लिए हमारे पास सपोज ये रिवर है, okay, and this is the velocity of the boat with respect to river, and but suppose this is point O, but because of the flow of the river which is in this direction, the boat tends to travel at an angle theta with respect to the speed in this direction. So this is velocity of the boat with respect to earth, and we are going to have the velocity of the river with respect to earth. So we are going to call it as VRE. So this is the basic diagram for the first part, A part. Okay, so for the A part, we can write it as VBR. It is velocity of boat with respect to river. Next is VRE. So we have velocity of river with respect to earth, and last we have VBE. That is velocity of the boat with respect to earth. Velocity of boat with respect to earth. Okay, now important thing is here is, so we can write that VBE is the resultant of VBR and VRE, which we can see from this triangle also. Okay, now it means we can find out that velocity of the boat with respect to river can be written as velocity of boat with respect to earth minus velocity of the river with respect to earth. Okay, so if you modify the equation, this equation can be written as VBE is equal to VBR plus VRE. This is nothing but the vector sum of these velocities. So this, from here we can say that the magnitude of VBE will be equal to VBR square plus VRE square and its square root. And we already know the values of VBR and VRE. They are respectively 10 and 5. So we can put the values 10 plus 5 and its square root. So VBE, velocity of boat with respect to earth, will be coming as 11.2 kilometer per hour. So this is our first part. In the second part, it is asked what is the direction of VBE. Okay, so we can write direction of VBE can be written as theta tangent inverse of VRE divided by VBR. So we already know the values. We can put these values as this will be tangent inverse of 5.10. Okay, so theta will be equal to tangent inverse of 1 by 2. So this is the angle, or we can say direction. Okay, now next we have to find out the time taken to cross the river. Okay, so we already know that the effective velocity for crossing the river is only in y direction. Okay, so it means which is nothing but which is equal to VBR. So based on this we can find out time. So we can see the time taken. So thus time taken to cross the river will be equal to T divided by VBR. D is given as 3, VBR is already 10, so we can write this as, this will be coming as 18 minutes will be the time taken to cross the river. So this was our first part, A part. Now in the B part, we can use two methods to find out the answer. Okay, so in the B part we can use two methods. So let us discuss one by one. In method 1, now it is asked that the boat should be crossing the river at the right angle. Okay, it means it should be going exactly, if this is the, you can say, river, and the actual direction what we want, that the boat should be heading in this direction. So if the boat should be going in this direction, let us call this as VBE, then the boat what we want, that actually it should be going in this direction at an angle theta with the vertical. Okay, so we are going to call this as VBR, and this will be equal to nothing but the velocity of the river with respect to earth. Okay, same thing can be written here also. The boat must head at a certain angle upstream. Okay, mind it, river is flowing in this direction. Okay, so upstream will be somewhere here, upstream, so that vector sum of velocity of boat relative to river and velocity of river velocity of river relative to earth, relative to earth must be directed right across, must be directed right across. So here the term right across basically means it should be going in straight direction like this. Okay, right across. So we can write the vector form of this. This implies that VBR plus VRE should be equal to VBE. Okay, and if we use a Pythagoras theorem in this triangle, okay, so we can write that by Pythagoras theorem, we can write VBE is equal to square root VBR square minus VRE square. So we know the values. First is 10, second is 5, and this can be written as that VBE will be coming as 8.66 kilometer per hour. Okay. Now we are going to find out the angle. So we can write that angle at which boat starts. So this angle is given as theta. So we can find out the sine of theta is equal to VRE divided by VBR, and VRE is 5 upon 10, so this will be 1 by 2. So we can say that theta is equal to 30 degree. Now we are going to use method 2, second method, to find out the same thing. So in this case, what we do, we consider this O as the origin. Okay, so considering point O as the origin, considering point O as origin, we can say that velocity in y direction, that is Vy, will be equal to VBE. Okay, so if we draw the coordinate system, so this will be our x direction, and this we consider our y direction, and this is point O. So we have VBE as VBE is in y direction, and we have a velocity that is VBR at an angle of theta, and we have the river velocity VRE in this direction. Okay, so we have Vy is equal to VBE. Now we can find out the two components of VBR. Okay, so one component of VBR will be in this direction. We are going to call this as VBR sine of theta, and another component will be in this direction, that is VBR, okay, cos of theta. So we can find out that Vx will be equal to VBR sine of theta minus VRE. Okay, so this is flowing in, going in this direction, VRE is going in this direction, so net velocity will be the x component will be subtraction of both. Okay, now the important concept is that for the boat, to move right across the river, the x component, it means if you have to move entirely in this direction right across, the x component should be equal to 0. So it means Vx should be equal to 0. So if you put Vx 0 here, so we can write this as VBR sine of theta minus VRE will be equal to 0. From here we can find out sine of theta. Sine of theta will be equal to VRE divided by VBR, which is equal to once again 5.10 is equal to y1.2, or we can say theta is same as 30 degree. So we can say that we can find out the angle by using two methods. Method 1, theta is coming same in both the cases. Thank you.